We made this.
Hello everyone, this is Tony, Network Chief of We Made This. As you know, our podcast network brings together a brilliant assortment of talent who talk about all kinds of pop culture content, such as the episode you just listened to, or maybe you're just about to listen to. We're not going anywhere, but we'd love to keep the lights on for even longer if you're able to support our network on Patreon. For just £2 a month, you get your name in lights and the satisfaction of knowing you're helping us produce more great audio. And for £3 a month, you'll get your name in lights, but you'll also get access to an exclusive bi-monthly podcast from the We Made This talent pool on podcasting, pop culture, and, well, you tell us. We'll take your suggestions. For less than the price of a coffee per month, you can help keep We Made This going. Just head to patreon.com/We Made This. That's patreon.com/We Made This. And get the ball rolling. Now, back to your scheduled programming.
Welcome everybody to episode 1 of Gotham University, the podcast where we discuss all Batman things. The family, the villains, the city itself. Jason Melendez here, alongside, hailing from Metropolis, because he's in a different state border, Michael Slammer. Mike, how are you?
What's up, everybody? What's going on, Jay? I'm doing good tonight. How about you?
Good, very good. Ready to talk a little controversy today?
You know, I am all about it. Bring it on. What are we talking about?
Well, we are going to talk about one of the most polarizing films, I think, that's ever come out in the 21st century. We are discussing the now infamous Justice League from 2017 and what is now transitioning over to the Zack Snyder's Justice League movie that will be premiering in 2021 on HBOMax.
I hear that's going to be a 4-part miniseries.
Yes, absolutely right. It will be 4 one-hour features. Don't know when yet. There is no date set yet, but it will be 4 hours long, and it will not be the same movie that we are being told it was. A lot of people have said, especially the naysayers, oh, it's just the same movie but extended. No, this movie is going to be different, an alternate opening, an alternate ending, multiple plots in between, with a shred of, a shred of what we got 3 years ago.
Wow.
Let me ask you this question, Mike.
Okay.
What do you know of Zack Snyder as a director?
Well, I do know that he had a big hit with the remake of one of my favorite horror films, Dawn of the Dead. And that remake is one of my favorite. So, to me, he's a really good director. I know he did Superman. Again, that was pretty controversial. Man of Steel with Henry Cavill, and I thought that was a great film. It wasn't like classic Christopher Reeve, truth, justice, the American way. It was very real. It was very modern and realistic, and it took the legacy of Superman in kind of a different direction. And I really liked it. I thought it was a great movie. I had no qualms with it. I know a lot of other people did. And, I know Superman is a problematic character in terms of, his power set. So, of course, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, which I presume we're going to be talking quite a bit about, with the Justice League, which I'm kind of curious what you mean by that.
There is a lot of story to that name, Justice League. But to Zack Snyder, when I think of Zack Snyder, I put him in a category with other unique directors. When you see their names on the opening credits, when you hear their name attached to a film, you know you're getting a unique style of filmmaking. Zack Snyder, Michael Bay, Tim Burton,
yes,
Quentin Tarantino, just to name a few. You hear those names and you know you're getting something different. You're getting something that is removing you from reality and putting you into the screen. That is their job as a director, to distract you from reality.
Oh.
You can look, what?
I just looked up his work. He also did 300. I love 300.
Yes, he did. He did Sucker Punch, Watchmen.
Yep.
The DC movies, Batman v Superman, Justice League. Mm-hmm. To name a few. I mean, a lot of other short films he's also done also. Dawn of the Dead, as you mentioned, Mike.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he is doing a follow-up to that, Army of the Dead.
Yes.
I don't know. So
I don't really know anything about that particularly. But he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's not a bad director. So what's up? What happened?
Not at all. I don't think that's the big controversy around him is, he's a hack, he's a bad director, I don't think he's any of those things. I think, like I said, he was a very unique filmmaker and tries to do his job to remove you from reality. Mm-hmm. And some will have a different opinion from me, from you, but I think his movies are great. Not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but he is a great director. He has done what I think DC needed to kind of boost them into the movie universe genre with Marvel. I think Zack Snyder is the answer to DC. A lot of people may disagree. A lot of people might hate that. But you're not going to see Zack Snyder's vision in a Marvel movie. I cannot see that, and I don't think a lot of fans can really see that. It doesn't work. Zack Snyder, you watch Watchmen, you watch Sucker Punch, you watch 300, Dawn of the Dead. They're dark. They're gritty. DC, dark and gritty. That works. That formula works. The problem was never Zack Snyder. It was the powers that be, and that's Warner Brothers. And that's kind of what we're going to get into in today's episode, the controversy behind Justice League and why it's called Justice League.
Well, I can say when I think about his films like Dawn of the Dead, 300, Watchmen, right? Man of Steel, and Batman v Superman. When I think about these movies, I feel like I'm watching a comic book come to life, especially with 300. Like I remember, I think you and I had seen it in theaters together when that came out. And just, it's the big screen and it's black and white. And then all of a sudden these colors just jump out at you and they drag you in. Like, it's cool stuff. And when I look at his filmography here, if that's the right term to use, I think it's definitely different from what Marvel does, right? Like, Marvel is very clean. It's kind of crisp. It's got a lot of production value behind it. And that's not to say that the DCEU films don't, or any of Zack Snyder's films don't. They certainly do. But his general vibe with the screen, I think, you made it a point with like Tim Burton, Michael Bay. Like, you're watching something different. Whereas with the Marvel films, honestly, you could tell me like anybody directed them and I would just be like, okay, yeah, sure.
That's exactly what that is. I mean, because not for nothing, I love the Russo brothers' work in the last two Avengers movies, in Civil War. But if you could have replaced those names with anybody else, and I mean no disrespect to them, I would have believed you. Okay,
totally.
They're great too.
Totally.
But it doesn't change the fact that they did a tremendous job with those movies. Just like, and here we go full circle, Joss Whedon did a great job with the Avengers in 2012. That's a Joss Whedon project, not a DC Joss Whedon film. That doesn't work in my point of view.
All right, so what happened with Joss Whedon and Batman v Superman?
Okay. Well, let's go back to Man of Steel. Warner Brothers wanted to get into the game. They wanted to compete with Marvel in their multi-universe franchise. They got Henry Cavill, they got Zack Snyder, they made Man of Steel. It was a good hit. That was the unofficial start to the DCEU. The official start was Batman v Superman. And Warner's wanted Zack Snyder back on the helm. They wanted him to not only direct that movie, but to also do Justice League, and if that was a success, to do a trilogy with that franchise, with that series. Batman v Superman, it delivered controversial results. It was popular, but it was also hated. There was a lot of mixed reactions by the crowd, by the critics, and one of the reasons why is because Warner Brothers doesn't have faith in the human mind. They want people to be focused on no more than 2 hours. They don't think that the human mind can span that long. Zack Snyder loves good storytelling. He will go 3 hours, 4 hours if he needs to for his movies. Warner's is like, no, we don't want that. We want to cut this down into under 2 hours if possible. Movie got released, the theatrical cut got released, and it was very confusing to some fans. Some people didn't like it. They didn't think that it was explaining enough. So when the Blu-rays released, there was this Ultimate Edition combo that we all got. That did much better. If you liked Justice or Batman v Superman, you loved the Ultimate Edition. If you hated the theatrical, it didn't skew you any better, but at least there was explanations to a lot of spotty parts throughout the movie. So that kind of redeemed Zack Snyder in a way. Then they
I remember when the movie came out, I didn't even bother to see it. I was so like unimpressed with the trailer and so just like kind of whatever, you know. And it took me a while to see it, and I think when I did, it was the Ultimate Edition. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so you never saw like the spots that were chopped off or, you know, cut from...
Right.
All right. Did you like the Ultimate Edition?
I have mixed feelings about the film. There's a lot in it. There's a lot in the film that I enjoyed visually and costume design, soundtrack. But I don't know. I never really liked Amy Adams, and I didn't really care for her role in the film. And I gotta say, you know, Ben Affleck, you know, knocked it out of the park as Batman. And I loved how they brought in the end of Man of Steel as kind of the catalyst to the Batman, you know, coming on screen and kicking this whole thing off. It's kind of like a brilliant move in my opinion. But the execution just fell flat. And what's the guy's name who plays Lex Luthor?
Oh, Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, I don't like him either.
So
it's kind of a miss with the casting too, you know.
Jesse Eisenberg was a bold choice to make as Lex Luthor. I don't think to this day no one can really get him right, except for Michael Rosenbaum during Smallville. Other than that, I think I love Smallville, difficult.
Dude.
Yeah,
I love Smallville. That was a classic for me. What's Michael Rosenbaum up to these days? Let's look him up. What's he doing?
He was doing something.
All right. Here he is. IMDb page. Pulling it up right now.
Okay.
The Phantom Stranger. Oh, he's in Robot Chicken? That's pretty cool.
I think everyone's in Robot Chicken.
That's fair.
Everyone's in
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Was he?
Who was that? It says Martin X. He was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. So that was one with Ego, the Planet Killer. But who was Martin X? I don't remember that character. Anyway, yeah, go ahead. Oh, he was in Batman Arkham Knight. Very cool. He was in Infinite Crisis, Nightwing and Robin.
Yes.
He's been busy. He's been keeping busy. All right. My man. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
Guy. Yeah. So, with Batman v Superman done, Zack Snyder got redeemed. So he was doing Justice League. And I believe, I didn't look this part up, but I believe he did finish all of it, if not most of it. He did, however, go through a lot of controversy with Warner Brothers again. Warner Brothers loves to micromanage these big tentpole films, especially comic books. And Warner Brothers was saying, this is too dark, this is too gritty, this is too long. They want to keep it short and simple and sell Happy Meals and costumes and action figures.
Man.
This goes back 30 years prior to another movie that Warner Brothers greenlit, a movie called Batman Returns. They thought that the movie was too dark, too gritty, too long. They wanted to sell Happy Meals, action figures, costumes. This was a major controversial move because cancel culture is not new. This goes back a while. This goes back 30 years. Parents were saying that they did not want to take their kids to see that movie. So Warner Brothers, like, after the release of Batman Returns, was like, we want to lighten up the third Batman movie. Exit Tim Burton. He did not want any part of it. He didn't want them to restructure his vision of Batman or his vision of Gotham City. Shortly after that, Michael Keaton wasn't comfortable with the direction of the franchise. Exit Michael Keaton. Mm-hmm. Enter Joel Schumacher, enter Val Kilmer. And then the rest is history. Everything fell apart because Warner Brothers wanted to sell Happy Meals, sell costumes, sell action figures, and they wanted to do it quick. Here we are.
Merchandising.
That's what that's about. And here we are in 2016, 2017. Exit Zack Snyder, exit Ben Affleck, enter Joss Whedon, enter Robert Pattinson, which we'll get to that in a different episode because that's different from what happened with the Schumacher era. But anyway, going into Justice League, tragedy did happen towards the end of his production. His daughter committed suicide.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's awful.
Yes. Oh, it's a huge tragedy. She committed suicide, and Zack said to Warner's, I can't do this. I can't continue this project. His wife, Deborah, was also a co-producer of the DCEU. They both backed out to, tend to their family. Rightfully so. That's a horrible thing to experience.
Yeah, no, of course.
So Warner Brothers understood. But you can't help but wonder exactly, as cold as this is going to sound, how quick they were to change from Snyder to Whedon. Because they did not want Zack Snyder's vision on the screen. So they got Joss Whedon in because, take nothing away from Whedon. If you don't know who he is, people listening, he's done a lot of great work. He was the creator of Buffy, the creator of Angel. He did Firefly. He did the Serenity movie, and most recently, and most famed, I think now, is he directed the Avengers. So he has a great resume. But Warner Brothers wanted Whedon to kind of slice up Zack's vision and pretty much start from scratch. This resulted in massive reshoots, which is not a bad thing typically, but when you do it unexpectedly and when you have one of your actors pulled from another movie and CGI his face because he's sporting a very charming mustache, it doesn't look good on screen. And we know this now.
Yes, we do. I heard they spend a lot of money on that too.
Quite a bit, yeah. I don't think it's 30 mil, but 30 million is somewhere in that budgeting. So the cast were not comfortable with Joss's work. They didn't like it. And that brings us to what's going on right now with Ray Fisher. I don't know if you've heard about this.
I have not.
So, about right when they announced that Zack Snyder's getting his movie released, Ray Fisher comes out. By the way, Ray Fisher is the actor who plays Cyborg in Justice League. He stood up and said that Joss Whedon's version of Justice League during production was very uncomfortable, inappropriate, and unprofessional.
Wow.
And
you know what? I did hear about that. I do recall hearing about this because I do remember Joss Whedon taking a big step back recently.
Yes. Yeah.
Apparently,
he had to kind of go under damage control on that. And what makes Ray's argument very legitimate is that you don't see a lot of Cyborg in this movie. But
Right.
in Zack Snyder's version, apparently you get a lot of story involving his character. So why the cut? Also, another thing, and this is kind of a quick side note, but also related, was a scene in Justice League. I don't know if you remember this. I barely did, actually. I had to watch it again. Was a scene where the Flash lands on top of Wonder Woman. You remember that scene?
On top?
Yes. Like, they're in a fight, and then the Flash is going around, and he's bouncing off the walls, literally, and then falls on top of Wonder Woman.
Like in like a body-to-body kind of awkward contact?
Sorta.
I'm getting
Do you remember
weird
that
vibes, man. I don't remember that at all, but hearing it out of context,
So,
makes me
Gal Gadot,
uncomfortable.
oh yeah,
Yes.
and Gal Gadot, the actress that played Wonder Woman, felt that same exact way. She did not feel comfortable having that scene. Joss Whedon insisted that she does that scene, and she was like, no, I will not do that. So, he had her stunt double do this scene, and if you want to see how it was done, notice in the movie, if you ever decide to rewatch it, how Wonder Woman's head is facing away from the camera. That's because
Yep.
it's not Gal.
Yep, I just pulled up a screen cap of it. That is not cool, man.
Mm-hmm. And that news came out long before Ray Fisher made the accusation, so it kind of lines up with how unprofessional Joss's crew was.
Yeah.
So going into the post-production of his version, Warner Brothers said, I want this released by the end of the year, 2017. Joss's team and Joss himself said, I can't do that. There's a lot of editing to be done. I can give you the spring of 2018, but not the winter of 2017. Warner's is like, we need this by the end of the year. We need this because our merger with AT&T is finalized in the end of the year. We need this done for our end of the year bonus. Joss obliged, like, I'll do what I can, and gave us the very cheaply made CGI that we got out of the 2017 version. Poor reviews across the board. Did not even break $1 billion in box office, which Warner Brothers was hoping they would get out of. Did not.
Well, yeah, I mean, in today's day and age of comic book movies, now it's like, oh, every movie has to break $1 billion in order to, keep the metric going and to justify its existence.
Sure. Well, also there's marketing. There's, obviously paying these celebrities, paying the cast and crew. So a lot of money went into it. So they had a number. They didn't meet the number. So Zack Snyder goes on he goes on Twitter, but he goes on a different social media platform, the one that he likes to use quite a bit. And he loves to engage with fans. He loves talking to them, even the critics. So one of the fans was like, did you see this movie? And Zack was saying he will never see this version. And a bunch of fans started chiming in saying, well, this is what we saw. This is what Warner Brothers and Joss Whedon released. And after hearing all that, one fan asked, is this the movie you were going to give us? And Zack said, everything from what I've read, only 20% of that material is mine. So there's another 80% out there that has not seen the light of day. So that's when the hashtag release the Snyder's Cut came to light. Petitions, billboards, protests. This went on for about 2.5 years.
Yeah.
It got to the point where celebrities started chiming in. And by celebrities, I mean the cast members. Gal Gadot made that movement. She put in hashtag release the Snyder's Cut. Jason Momoa, same thing. Ray Fisher, Ezra Miller, Henry Cavill, Superman himself got in there right around towards the end there. Nothing. Warner Brothers insisted this doesn't exist. This movie doesn't exist. Stop hashtagging it. Stop asking for it. There is no such thing. Goes dark for about a year, maybe a year and a half. 2019. Out of nowhere, Ben Affleck, Batman himself, doesn't tweet anything but one thing. Release the Snyder's Cut.
Yes.
Internet blows up. Batman just endorsed Zack Snyder. So, the crowd goes nuts. Fans say, we want it back. There is one. It exists. Give that to us. Warner Brothers said, we're not going to fund it. We're not going to do anything. It does exist, but we're not going to do much about it. Enter HBO Max. We got you. Then Warner Brothers started saying, okay, let's do this. HBO Max said, we'll put up the platform. Zack Snyder gets back to work. And about April, I think, of this year, he did a Zoom meeting with Henry Cavill and a few other people, and they made the announcement, Justice League is coming back in 2021.
It makes perfect sense, too, to partner with HBO Max. They launched this new streaming app, and they need these big tentpole IPs to sell to subscribers. So,
agreed.
Brilliant move to market and to get it out there. Also, it makes it, I mean, I don't know all the inner workings of distribution and licensing between film rights and TV rights, but with the new age of digital and streaming, the licensing gets a little different. So there might be less expensive, number one, to recut and reshoot or re-edit. And marketing it will be a lot easier because it's going to go directly to your screen. You don't have to worry about getting the license to go to AMC theaters, to go to Regal, wherever, you go to watch your movies.
Oh, the marketing has been super easy because, like what you just said, and on top of it, you know what the movie's about. I mean, for the most part, we've already seen it, but we're just getting more of it. And thanks to DC Fandom, we got even more clip of the movie.
Yeah.
And Zack's not afraid of spoiling it for us. Like, we know how he's wearing the black suit, Superman is. We know that Batman isn't going to be a sidekick in this movie. And by that, I mean, I did rewatch Justice League, and I was not at all into how they treated his character, Ben Affleck's character.
Yeah. Back up for a second. What's the big deal about the black suit?
The black suit in Superman harnesses the light so that he becomes stronger especially after being very weak. In Doomsday, Death of Superman, Doomsday kills Superman. We know that. We saw the movie, we read the comics. And
spoiler alert. Sorry.
Yeah, spoiler alert, guys. Superman dies.
I don't know why you're listening to this podcast if you haven't seen it.
So he needs the suit to kind of rejuvenate himself. And he needs the sun to have strength built in. If you saw Batman v Superman, he got nuked in that one scene with Doomsday. Superman essentially died in space, but because he was right next to the sun, he came back to life. So the suit is kind of like, it kind of ramps up like his strength and healing ability to kind of get back into the game. So because he died at the end of Batman v Superman, he needs that suit to get back in and, rejuvenate. It's his Lazarus pit, so to speak. But for some reason, Warner Brothers decided that, no, that suit wasn't needed. We don't need that suit. We can just go back to, the blue and red. And Zack's like, no, this is very critical for his arc. Warner didn't want to have any of it, so they were like, we're cutting it. So Zack had to re-edit and filter in the black suit into his vision that we'll see next year.
Okay.
Flash was very comical in the original. I don't think so much in this version. And the alternate intro, you remember the intro of Superman being recorded by those kids?
Yep.
That's gone. That was a Whedon project. That's not going to even exist. And what you said earlier, how you like the connection between Man of Steel and Batman v Superman going into it.
Yep.
That's exactly what's going to happen in this movie. I actually just came out maybe about a week or two ago. There's a screen cap of Superman being crushed by Doomsday. That's in this Justice League coming out because we are getting the ending of Batman v Superman as the intro to Justice League. So we're getting the connection again going from movie to movie. But in this version, we are getting a different point of view of his death. We're not seeing it from his vision. We're seeing it from Batman's point of view. Wonder Woman's point of view, Lois Lane's point of view. We're going to see through their eyes how Superman sacrifices himself, which gives us more of a connection to Superman and his death and eventually his resurrection into Justice League. And like I mentioned, Cyborg is going to have a more prominent role in this movie. If you watch the trailers, you see a very heartbreaking moment between him and his father. Spoiler alert again, sorry. Father dies. Or at least gets his ass incinerated badly.
Yeah, DC really loves killing off dads.
They do, don't they? Son of a gun.
Like, what the heck, guys? Like, did their parents just go out for cigarettes and never come back, and they wrote that into comic book history?
And the one father they do keep alive is in prison. That'll be Flash's dad. But yeah.
All right, so the Snyder Cut is essentially going to be, like the new mantle by which the extended universe can move forward.
Yes. This movie has a lot of riding on it because a lot are saying that if this movie does very well, Warner Brothers could relight the trilogy that we were supposed to get for Justice League. We're supposed to get 2 and 3. We're supposed to get a story arc that's supposed to end. I don't know if I want to say this. Yeah, I'm going to say it. So Zack Snyder's already said it on the internet, and it's not really a shocker or surprise. He kind of wants Batman to die at the end of Justice League 3. Whether he dies permanently or not, I don't know.
Okay,
but,
hold up. You're saying that there would be a Justice League trilogy.
Yes.
Okay, similar to how we have, like, the Avengers trilogy.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
Well, technically there's not an Avengers trilogy. I mean, if you want to count...
You're right about that. I'm just thinking in the context of, like, there was the Avengers, and there was Age of Ultron, and then there was Civil War, which tore them apart. And then the only reason they came back together was because of Thanos.
Right.
So, yeah. But it would, okay, so where do they go from the Snyder Cut?
As of now, I believe the ending opens up the possibility of a sequel. So, I don't know if this is going to give hope for a trilogy or not. I mean, I don't know all the details of how this is going to end. Some say that Steppenwolf succeeds in blowing up the Earth. Some say he didn't. Some say that, and I didn't catch this. I had to watch it again, the trailer. Apparently the Flash uses the Speed Force. I didn't know that. For some reason, I completely missed it. But yeah, he uses it, but why, I don't know. Is it because Steppenwolf succeeds, or is it because he goes back in time for a different reason?
Because I remember at the very end, they kind of like went back to Wayne Manor, and they're all just like standing around, and it's kind of like a very open-ended type thing.
That was kind of like their Hall of Justice, even though the Hall of Justice is supposed to take place in space, but they used that as well. Yeah, the ending I think was a feel-good ending. Everyone would say they save the day, yay, and then they go their separate ways.
Yeah, I mean, how many times can Warner Brothers have a superhero movie where the entire world is at stake? I think this is something that I have a big problem with today in film in general. TV shows do it too. It's the stakes are so high that they're impossibly high. And you don't really get a good understanding of the characters because they're like right up against the wall throughout 99.9% of the film, and that very last 0.01% is them saving the day. And we don't get those moments to breathe, to understand their dynamic, to understand the different chemistry between the characters, where they came from, where are they going. Every good story has a beginning, middle, end, but we never get to see the middle with these films. And I think putting the stakes so high and making it like, this is it. This is the end of the planet. The Darkseid's gonna come down. He's gonna destroy the world. This is it. our heroes have to stop him. It's like, well, yeah, we know this, and we kind of know how it's going to end, but we're here for the journey. And when it's constantly go, 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 you don't really have an opportunity to breathe and enjoy the journey.
I think Marvel succeeded in that because they did a decade of making those movies, making that journey. You know, if you really put them together, that's how it goes. I mean, in one single movie like Infinity War, yeah, it was all about, you know, oh, the world's going to end. We got to stop, stop, stop. But if you start from 2008,
right?
You know, you're talking about Iron Man, well, Tony Stark becoming Iron Man, right. And then a decade later he dies. So I mean, there's a hell of a journey in between that.
And one of the things that I think Marvel, they definitely don't need more credit, but
No.
I don't think they get enough credit for making films that you can watch separately from each other that aren't this world-ending catastrophe. Like, yes, it would fundamentally change our hero's world. Like, for example, Tony Stark. In Iron Man 3, his whole journey is the post-traumatic stress disorder dealing with the events of the Avengers. And Iron Man 3 is about him dealing with that trauma and going through the process of getting rid of his suits, you know, and relying more on himself. You know, that is a very personal story. That's not a world-ending event, you know? And to go back to the Avengers, that film wasn't about destroying the world. It was about changing the world and taking it over and conquering. You know, so it wasn't all life is going to end. You know, it's more like, well, life is going to change fundamentally, and we have to deal with the results of that if it does, but we're going to fight it because we like what we have now. So I think that's like the big difference in how Marvel treats their films and setting it up. So that way, when the stakes do get really high, like they did in Endgame, then you know we're here for the real shit, you know? We're here for it.
Well, DC's kind of the same way, and like the mother box in the Justice League movie isn't about, I guess I'm using the terms wrong, it's not about destroying the Earth, it's about molding it into Darkseid's home planet, Apocalypse. And that's kind of what he wants to do. You know, and we saw that in Transformers also. You know, they want to take Earth into Cybertron and all that stuff. And that didn't end well.
Yeah.
From our point of view, because I did not care for the Transformers movies all that much. But DC's kind of doing the same thing. But I mean, they've been doing it much, much longer. And I like to think it's going to succeed this time around. They're only going to do it within 3 movies, which makes it very difficult to do. And I'm hoping that they can pull off the impossible and say, you know, this is our territory. You know, we've done this for a while, so we're hoping to kind of redeem ourselves after what we've done with, you know, the original Justice League, or, you know, the Green Lantern movie that came out back in 2013, 14.
Hey, I like that movie. I'm not, you know, it's really campy.
I think it gets a lot of flack, but it wasn't fantastic, but it wasn't terrible as everyone else is making it out to be. And speaking of which, I don't know if Ryan Reynolds is trolling everyone. There's a 97% chance he is, but he's always lately been like sending out tweets that, oh, guess who's going to be in the new Justice League movie? Like, oh god, like, maybe he's telling the truth, maybe he's not.
I love Ryan Reynolds, man. He is one of the funniest guys who's currently a celebrity. You know what I mean? Like,
oh, he's a fantastic actor.
It's him. Yeah.
I think if they asked him, hey, do you want to come back to DC and do right with this and have a better script? I think he would do it. I think take a break from Deadpool for a little while. I would hope so,
not
at least.
For nothing, they could bring back Ryan Reynolds as the Green Lantern. They wouldn't have to do an origin story because that's already been done. You know, just move on. You know, he is the Green Lantern. Let him have literally the mantle. and just let him have fun. You know, you don't need to rehash all that work.
Right. I mean, like you just said, he you know what he is. You've seen the story of the first Green Lantern movie. Why even revisit it? You know, just go right where we started and take it from there. And they've been teasing.
Any other actor would have such a good sport about it either. You know, like any other one who comes in and be like, well, I want an origin story, you know?
He doesn't need it. And plus, they've been teasing.
Do it like, you know, like Mark Ruffalo coming in as the Hulk. You know, it's like, yes, different actor. We're just ignoring it and we're moving on.
Well, they've been teasing Unite the Seven for a while. When we got 6 of them, where's that 7th one? You know, there is a Green Lantern. He was part of the core members of the Justice League. We want a Green Lantern. Not to mention, I think there's also a few versions out there that they can also introduce. Not only Ryan Reynolds, but there's also Jon Stewart. I know I'm speaking a different language to you with how many different versions of Green Lanterns there are. But there are a few that they could also introduce. I'm definitely not in the know. Yeah. I mean, I'm not too familiar with all of Green Lantern stories. But yeah, what do you call Justice League coming out next year? It's not new.
What?
It's coming out next year. You can't call it a new movie.
What
you
is?
You can call it it's not a reboot.
Hold on. What's coming out next year?
The Justice League movie. What we've been talking about for all this whole time.
The Justice League movie already came out. There's another one coming out?
Yes! The Snyder's Cut.
Oh.
Oh, you. Oh.
Oh. Hold up.
Sir, whatever you have, pass it over.
Okay. Wow. No. We're good. I just got confused. Because you're like, oh, the Justice League movie coming out next year. We're totally talking about the Snyder Cut of the Justice League.
Yes. I guess I should have just gone with that.
Yeah, no, it's okay.
I guess I should have said the Snyder's Cut,
the sequel.
Not new. No.
Yeah,
I would have edited this show with breaking news.
Something.
No, yeah, that's my fault. I should have just said Snyder's Cut.
No, it's all good, man.
So, since you are the novice in this, do you like the idea of 4 one-hour episodes? Or do you want the whole thing in one?
Man, that's a great question. I think, maybe split the difference and do a 2-part, movie. Part 1, part 2. I dig the miniseries, like hour-long miniseries. HBO did Chernobyl a couple years ago, and that was a 6-part miniseries, and it was excellent. It was excellently paced. You got to know each individual in the story. You followed along as it happened, basically, and having that break in between each part allowed you to sit with it, as opposed to just it's all happening all at once, and there's so much to look at, and there's so much to think about, and so much to talk about, and that's something that hasn't really transitioned from the analog to the digital age, right? Like when we used to watch TV, we'd have to wait a week between episodes. And part of the fun was talking about what's going to happen next week. Mm-hmm. Here, we got Netflix, we got Hulu, we got Prime, it all releases all at once, and they just blast your face with all this content. And in today's day and age, we have so many screens that are begging for our attention and begging us to look at this, look at that, look at this. So hour-long parts of the Snyder Cut of the Justice League, I think makes a lot of sense, because it allows me as a viewer to sit there and be like, okay, what did I just watch? What happened? I can go online. I can talk about it. I can text you and be like, Jay, what was that all about? Explain this to me. Why did this happen? And then at the end of everything, you can always go back and watch it all as one part, because now you're going to know a little bit more about where the story is going. You know, it's like, even if you know the ending and you know it like the back of your hand, you know, you can still go back and watch something and see something that you hadn't before. And that, I think, is one of the brilliant things about releasing it in parts.
Whoever thought of that idea, whether it was HBOMax, Warner Brothers, it was a brilliant move, for the fact that what you just said, if you are new to the franchise, or if you're not familiar with the comics or the origin of these characters too well, you have an hour to sit with what you watched and then let it ferment for an entire week. Talk to your local nerd who does know what happened and say, what was that about? And let it build, let the anticipation of the next episode build. And I'm hoping that how they do it, they leave you with cliffhangers, not just, oh, this ends here because we ran out of time. I hope that there is something that makes even the hardcore fans say, give me more.
Right. Well, that's definitely a challenge for the editing team when they're in the room, to find those moments where they can say, okay, yes, this resolves this part, you know, and next week is going to be the second part that's going to continue the story. But you don't want to just, you know, suddenly, like The Sopranos, just mid-conversation, black.
Yeah.
And that's it.
I also hope that in those 4 parts, it also does do the character development. I mean, I know that Cyborg's going to have a bigger part in this. I hope there's others also. I hope we get more of Jason Momoa's character, Aquaman. I hope we get a little bit
Jason
more.
Momoa.
He's a good guy. Really, I hope we get a more. Well, I guess we already got the backstory of Batman from Batman v Superman. I hope we get a serious version, though. I do not like that comic relief version. And it was funny, like, in the first time around, but when you see it again, it's like, that's not what he says. No. Oh, and that's actually going into that scene that I didn't care for it anymore, was when Superman tells Batman, do you bleed? Remember that scene?
I do.
Zack Snyder cringed at that scene, and when I thought about it, I thought, he's right. Why would Superman tell a mortal, do you bleed? When Batman said it to Superman in Dawn of Justice, it made sense. It was A, a threat, and B, a curious question. Does a god bleed? And then when Superman flew away, he said in that ominous tone, you will. In Justice League, when Superman says it to Batman, like he does bleed. So, and Zack Snyder was very critical of that, because he was like, I would never put that in the script. So, kind of shows that he knows what he's doing. Again, going back to the whole filmmaker thing. He knows what he's doing.
Right. He
knows what to put into the movies. And I do believe that we're not going to get that semi-animated version of Batman that we got in the 2017 Justice League.
Right.
And either way, I'm going to enjoy the crap out of this movie. I'm already putting a few bucks aside for my HBO Max. I'm sure a bunch of people are too.
Oh yeah. We got it on a free trial, and there's a lot right now already on HBO Max, but I would have to say it's not yet worth the money.
Right.
So with Justice League, Snyder Cut coming out,
well, that's going to boost subscription.
You know, depending on when. And this is the other thing, like, you know, the COVID-19 situation, you know, like, they've already got the film, so now it's all editing, right? Post-production right now is doable, as long as you already have all the footage. So if that's all they're working with, cool, no problem. There shouldn't really be that big of a deal as far as like, oh, we need to delay because we have to do this shoot, we got to do that shoot. So if it's in the bag, then it's just about sweetening that deal and making sure that they include what they actually want and getting rid of, you know, anything that, you know, Joss may have put in that, you know, Zach would be like, never mind, you know. So I
Zach already said.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder already said that he's taking everything out of Joss's version. What we saw last year, or in 2017, we'll not see in this version. So that's pretty much a total wipeout from the original. But Also, a smart move for how long was the trial? 30 days or 1 week?
It was only a 7-day trial.
See, perfect. Because now you had to subscribe to get to the other 3 episodes.
There you go. There you go.
I'm not giving away my password. You earn it. You're giving the money.
Just give him the money. Give him the money.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Hey, it's a really cool fact about Jason Momoa. So he's not just Aquaman, right? But he's kind of Aquaman in real life.
Yes, he is.
He is a big advocate for the ocean. He's a big environmental activist. He's gone to the UN and he's taken them to task about, not being hard enough on climate change. And he is also going to be involved in some great new content that's going to be put out, in the future by one of the major networks. I actually can't go into any more detail about that. But
okay. Then never mind. Well, I thought he was going to be on a TV series or a docu-series with a network.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did hear about that then.
Well, he is involved with Discovery's Frontier, which is a dramatic adventure series. Yeah.
Yes.
So he is involved there. And he's, going to be involved in a few other things as well. But he's a great guy. I haven't met him, but everything I hear, everything I read about, he's got a good heart, and he is Aquaman, which is what better casting, right?
The man shaved his beard just so that people can talk about it, and then when he got their attention, he's like, "Oh, recycle your water bottles." That was the message. Everyone was like, "What did you do to your beard?" "Oh, I shaved it." "Got your attention? Recycle." That's what he did. I was like, good man.
Yeah.
But he's also, from what I read, in the second Aquaman movie that's going to eventually be made once this is all over, I don't know if he wanted to. I assume he did because he is an activist, that he wanted the movie to be more centered around current conditions involving the climate. So I don't know what that means, but I would imagine that, he's Aquaman, so a lot of it's going to involve, pollution, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just speculating.
I enjoyed the Aquaman movie. It wasn't it reminded me of a Marvel movie. It was fun. It was energetic. It had character, and it had a fun story, so it had all the good elements of a good movie. I don't think, and Jason Momoa, his charisma is a big part of that too. I didn't care for the girl in that movie. I don't remember.
Oh, Amber Heard?
The actress?
Well,
Amber Heard. Yeah, I didn't care for her. Also,
due to her legal
she
issues,
is a terrible person, apparently.
Yeah, I was just going to say, due to her legal issues, you may not have to worry about her anymore.
Good. Oh, man. Man, so is there anything else that I should know about the Snyder Cut going into it, or anything I should be looking for?
Just do not expect to see what you saw in 2017. From what he said, from what the team has said, this is a completely different movie. And based on the trailer, I have to agree. This is not going to be what we saw 3 years ago. And that makes me more excited because we're actually getting the movie we were promised 4 years ago when they said we're greenlighting this. Wow. So sign me up. This is new. This is fresh. The Batfleck returns.
The Batfleck returns.
But yeah, that's about it. That's your history and how Warner Brothers should just chill out and let their directors do the work.
Yeah, it's really frustrating to hear about film studios barging in on their own films and being like, no, we want you to do it this way because we promised some guy last year that we would include his crazy robot spider in this movie that takes place in the Wild West.
What are you talking about?
Oh, you don't know about this?
No, I do.
Okay. Oh, you do. Okay.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic.
For those who don't, the movie Wild Wild West with Will Smith way back in the day, there was a big enemy and it was like a big robot spider. It made no sense about anything, but apparently the studio had some writer, producer, whatever, he had come up with this idea for this villain and this creature to come in, and they were like, all right, we're going to write it into the movie. And the director was like, no, how do we even make that work? It doesn't make any sense. And he kind of lost that battle because the studio was like, nope, we're putting it in.
That was basically Men in Black, but in the West. You had Will Smith, you had his partner, an old white guy, fighting a awkward villain.
Everything Will Smith was in back then was basically Men in Black, Independence Day, Wild Wild West. Like,
yes,
he played the same character.
Yeah. 100% agree with you.
If you made an entire film franchise surrounding the fact that Will Smith is like a time traveler, like a Doctor Who type of person, and he's the same person in these wildly different worlds, I would believe that. I would believe that.
Mm-hmm. But he was different as Deadshot. And back to DC. See how I do that there?
DC.
I do miss him.
Do you think he's going to come back as a Deadshot?
Not in this movie. In the new Suicide Squad movie that's coming out next year, I believe. He will not be in that, unfortunately. Will he ever come back to the DC universe? I don't know. There's already been talks that and this is just talks, this is just rumors, if Ben Affleck does return full-time to don the cowl again, it wouldn't be him versus Deadshot, it would be him versus Deathstroke, whom, if you remember at the end of Justice League in the post-credits, kind of made his appearance with Lex Luthor. So, if this movie is a success, maybe we'll see those two. But I don't know about Deadshot.
All right. If there was any actor that you would like to see cast as any villain in the DCEU, who would you pick?
Any actor in any character?
Yes. Full fan cast mode, go.
I did want to see at one point Johnny Depp as the Riddler.
Ooh.
Maybe still do. I mean, that's not going to happen in this universe that's coming out.
Right.
But right when the end of The Dark Knight premiered, and it left open whether or not we're going to get a third movie or not, I genuinely wanted to see a Riddler who is the Batman. That was like the big thing. Like, okay, Batman's he's now an enemy of the city. We got to hunt him down. And how do you do that? Mm-hmm. You find out who's behind the mask. And I thought the perfect choice, and this wasn't my idea, it sparked out on the internet, was Johnny Depp would be a good investigator. And I thought Johnny Depp would be amazing in that role. Asking a lot of questions, asking a lot of riddles. We've seen that very eccentric side of him in all of his films. Why not throw him into a darker version of that?
Right. I mean, he, I guess, in popular culture right now, he's still really, really known for, Pirates of the Caribbean, but he does have very excellent dramatic chops.
Absolutely. His range is unlimited.
Yeah. The Tourist is one that I really enjoyed. That was a great movie.
I love that movie.
Yeah. And, From Hell was excellent. And he actually played a detective in that movie.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
That was good. He does have the dramatic chops capable of it. And I just think it's a situation of casting for the past, 15 years that he's not been in any great roles to kind of showcase that.
Yeah. I think he's forever typecasted as like the character actor pretty much, Pirates of the Caribbean, what was it? The Lone Ranger. I
mean, to be fair, he also purposefully took roles so his kids could watch,
True. Yeah, that's very true. I was just trying to think of an actor who would... So I'm trying to think, I'm going the opposite direction here. I'm going on an actor playing Mr. Freeze. I want to miss a legitimately good Mr. Freeze, and I'm trying to think of what actor would be perfect for that.
I got one for you. J.K. Simmons. What do you think?
Maybe.
Only a maybe.
I'm trying to... I'm used to seeing J.K. Simmons lively. Like, whether he was in Spider-Man or in Justice League. I'm trying to think of him in his most monotone moments. I mean, he's a great actor, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking him down for anything. He's a brilliant actor.
Fair enough.
It's just when I think of Mr. Freeze, I think of, pain and trauma, both emotionally and physically. And I'm trying to think of an actor who can just generate that at will with the snap of their fingers.
So, not Tom Cruise.
I don't know if Tom Cruise has that ability. Definitely not Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Man. Oh my god. All right. I mean, if age wasn't a consideration, Robert De Niro.
He'd have to, I think. Well, he'd have to lose a couple of pounds.
Oh, damn.
No, I'm not saying because he's fat. Mr. Freeze is very...
Fat shaming Robert De Niro?
In shape. I'm not fat shaming Robert.
Are you fat shaming Robert De Niro?
Victor Freeze is very much in shape. At least I think he is behind that cryo suit.
I mean, yeah, more than likely.
I'm drawing blanks. I don't know what actor would be good for that role.
Well, it's a good thing you don't work in any casting departments.
No, it is very good. We should send this out to Twitter.
There we go.
If you guys are following,
we'll post it on Twitter.
Absolutely. Gotham U Pod.
That is the letter U. Gotham U Pod. On both Twitter and Instagram.
Yes, anything else, Mike, for today's episode?
We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We are available on Podcast Addict, Podchaser, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Castro, and Castbox. And coming soon to an Alexa device near you. We should be available within the next week or so.
You all have no excuse to not tune in. Did you watch it? Oh, I don't know how. There it is! The list is right there. Go on Twitter, Gotham U Pod. Go on Instagram, Gotham U Pod. There's your list.
There it is. We'll blast it out. We have to come together right now. Over me. Bum, bum. That was a really cool.
Loved
when they came out with that version. Yeah, that was pretty hot. I'm not gonna lie.
And you know what? Going back to that movie, so Junkie XL did a part of that version of Come Together. Mm-hmm. When Joss Whedon took over, Junkie XL left. That's when they brought back Danny Elfman to do the score. Now that Zack Snyder's back, Junkie XL is back. So we're gonna get that soundtrack or that score into this movie.
Interesting. So
we are going to get that, and I do have that song in my on my list because I love that song.
It's that's just a classic. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jay, this has been fun. I learned a lot tonight.
Yeah. I try to provide you all with some knowledge, some info into the world of Gotham City and Warner Brothers, apparently.
Oh, man. All right, well...
I hope...
I guess until next time, same bat time, same bat channel, Jay.
Yes, sir. And thank you all for listening. Tune in next time.
Elsewhere on We Made This. Between the Notes.
So we've got another Netflix series and accompanying score, The Queen's Gambit by Carlos Rafael Rivera. Did you watch this over Christmas? Did you see it?
Well, funnily enough, I had at the start of last week, I had 2 days where I was working from home before I was going into a whole new job. And because I thought I was going to be working from home a lot more than I am, I thought, do you know what? I'm going to watch The Queen's Gambit in one day. So that's what I did. Yeah. I watched all 7 episodes of The Queen's Gambit in one morning and afternoon. So yes, I have seen it.
And it's sublime, isn't it? It's a really, really good. So I'm saying that. I'm assuming. Did you think that as well? But
No, I thought it was
right.
Sorry. Shipwrecked and Comatose, a Red Dwarf podcast.
So with my track record, have you worked out where I'm going with this?
I have now, yeah.
Would it feel different if you had a wank?
Probably.
But the thing is, as well, it might be different. It might be different even with the left-hander and the left-hander, though.
True.
Different pace. It's different pace.
Yeah, and also, it's a different cock. I hadn't thought of that.
Speaking of that, Chris Barry looks down. Well, not Rimmer looks down, doesn't he? At some point.
Yes, he does.
We dig music.
I am amazed this made top 10.
Oh, I'm not. It's really good.
I really am.
I do not remember what this
Exactly.
is like at all. My only comment when I was actually listening to it is bit nothingy.
I think it's really good, although it does suspiciously sound a lot like Sting's Shape of My Heart.
What?
It really does. The guitar melody is very much like it. It's got
Fuck you.
beautiful guitar and vocal.
Fuck you, Ian.
Check out all of these shows and more on the We Made This podcast network.